Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is one of the most ancient and revered mantras in Hinduism. It is found in the Rig Veda, which is estimated to have been composed between 1500 to 1200 BCE. The mantra is attributed to the sage Vishwamitra.
She had lost her voice almost 6 or 7 months or almost 8 months before she came to me. Voice totally gone. She's seen every doctor, every expert, voice gone. I again asked her, did you do any mantras? When I looked at her, I thought she must have done something. When I looked at her, it's very clear to me she's done something. She said, no. Then I asked, did you come under the influence of some mantras? Did you go to some place where they're doing powerful mantras and did you come under the influence? She said, no. Last day she's very anxious. Gayatri is a powerful process, very different in its nature. It is not something that's entirely focused towards one's internal or spiritual growth or that dimension. It involves various things. So this was generally taught to every householder so that for the not so focused people, some substance, some support for well-being, health, success and other aspects of life. So Gayatri is not necessarily for a serious spiritual practitioner. It is more for a householder for whom spiritual process is also one aspect of his life. It's a possibility if it's properly initiated. We don't generally do those things here because except for the Devi, spiritual process here is devoid of all ritual. Internalizing the process is little more sophisticated and subtle, but far more reliable than external processes. When we use external processes to create inner dimensions, it leads to a certain limitation of space and time as to what we do and what we do not do. You can't be 24 hours spiritually on if you are involved in an external process. It's a good support, it's a good aid, but it's just that, it's a good support. In terms of support, there are many other ways to support this. Above all, those who are initiated by us here, we support them in a completely different way. They just have to they just have to ask for it, and wherever they are, there is a support system. Support system not in terms of teachers and volunteers and stuff. Energetic support is available wherever they are. So, because of our ability to provide this support to every human being, wherever they may be, we did not establish rituals of support. It is one of the most popular things that's been done in the country for a long time. Long time means particularly in the last 1,000 years. I think since Adi Shankara, he propagated this big time. Because when he came, there was a certain degradation of general population. So he wanted to teach something that's mass. Like today we are doing Isha Kriya, Mass. Gayatri is a certain process which involves many things. And considering the nature of what it is, I'm not saying it's relevant today, it'll always be relevant, but socially and structurally, it is not so fitting into modern life as it is because of the things that are needed to make this happen. In today's world, because almost a huge population on the planet today does not stay in the same place. I want you to understand, I want to look back and see. 500 years ago, most people in their whole lifetime, they got up and went back to sleep in the same place, in the same building for their whole lifetime without one day of being out. That's how life used to be. Today, I think very, very few human beings are like that. People like me, if I sleep on the same bed for 2 nights, I think it's a fortune. So, those days are gone. Because of that, certain rituals and certain ways of doing things, the relevance of that has come down substantially. I'm not saying the relevance of the basic practice is gone, no. But social things have changed, situational changes have happened, which doesn't facilitate those type of practices much. It's best they're internalized. Internalized processes can be done anywhere. We are not depending upon what kind of atmosphere we are in, what kind of people we are with, it doesn't matter. So, yoga is 100% internalized. What you call as Gayatri, what you call as many other things, in yoga we call this Tantra Yoga. When I say Tantra Yoga, today Tantra has found very ridiculous expressions, particularly in the Western nations. And people think if you utter the word Tantra, they're thinking about unbridled promiscuity. No, Tantra just means technology. There are various types of tantras. So if you employ technologies where external material is involved, that's called tantra. If you employ technologies where no external material is involved, it's completely internalized, then we call it yoga. If we want to create tantric processes, right now an arati is happening in the Devi temple, it's a kind of a tantra. A puja happens, it's a tantra. An abhishekam happens, it's a tantra. These are techniques or technologies to create certain impact. But now if you want to do tantra, you need the form of the Devi, you have so many limitations. Tantra is useful when people are not willing to do anything by themselves, they want somebody else to do it for them. So one person who's learned how to do it facilitates it for everyone. The danger of Tantra is exploitation. There was a fabulous tantric culture in this country. In the last 2 generations, we've beaten it down because it led to such states of exploitation and turned so ugly, we thought it's better without it. So the last 2 generations have really pushed ritualistic way of life out because it was so exploitative. So internalized processes, the safety of it is nobody can exploit it, it's you. Somebody can inspire you, somebody can initiate you, somebody can induct you into a powerful process, that's it. there is no room for exploitation. At the same time, there is no need to throw everything out. That would be like throwing the baby with the bathwater. You don't have to throw everything out. Carefully maintain tantra is okay. I want you to obliterate this silly idea that you have. Tantra means sexuality. No, it's got nothing to do with sexuality. It has got something to do with using external means to make things happen, whatever. Because both yogis and tantrics are more like scientists, seeing how to make it work. They might not have fit into the moral codes of a particular society at a particular time in history. Because of that, they might have gotten this label. Because of that, they've gotten this label, but otherwise, it is nothing to do with sexuality, it's about learning to use external material for your well-being. Not just yours, the larger group of people. So Gayatri belongs to that realm, nothing wrong with it, it's just the suitability of today. The mantras are a powerful process, but they need to be properly used, properly initiated. Improper usage of sounds, powerful sounds, can cause serious problems. I happened to be in United States and someone brought this lady to the program. It was a 7-day event and she had lost her voice almost 6 or 7 months or almost 8 months before she came to me. Voice totally gone. She's seen every doctor, every expert, voice gone. She can't speak a word. Simply empty air comes out when she tries to speak without any sound. They have not been able to detect anything improper with her vocal cords or whatever, everything is proper but she can't speak. So naturally when nothing is there, they will say maybe there is a polyp, maybe there is this, maybe there is that, maybe all kinds of cortisones and this and that, and somebody is suggesting a surgery, there's nothing else, they want to open up and see. So they brought her to me and I looked at her. And then I asked, did you do any practice, any spiritual process? Did you do any mantras? Then I said, okay, you be in the program, let's see. So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, she's becoming anxious because her voice has not come back and I have not said a word about her vocal cords. So by 4th day, she's very anxious. Then she came again and I again asked her, did you do any mantras? When I looked at her, I thought she must have done something. When I looked at her, it's very clear to me she's done something. She said, no. Then I asked, did you come under the influence of some mantras? Did you go to some place where they're doing powerful mantras and did you come under the influence? She said, no. Last day she's very anxious. Then again I met her and I said, see, you must have done something or you have come under the influence of some mantras. Tell me, what have you done in the last year, year and a half? Where all did you go? Then she said, she writes, she cannot speak. She said she did Gayatri. Oh, I said, where did you learn Gayatri? She said, I went to India and I bought a CD. Whenever I'm going to work, Atlanta traffic is such, she takes 2.5 hours to reach her workplace and when she's stuck in the traffic, she'll do Gayatri like this. When the traffic clears up when she's driving, she'll leave the Gayatri alone. When she has time, she'll just repeat with the thing. She's an American person, how she will repeat the mantra. We don't know, already the CD itself may be wrong. On top of it, she's American. Sanskrit words will not come easy to her. No, I'm not commenting about America. If you have not spoken the vernacular language, to utter Sanskrit will be very difficult. So then I knew that she's messed up with Gayatri. I said, see, 3 months if you come and stay with us in India, we will make an attempt, no guarantee, we will make an attempt and see. She came here and we put her through a whole lot of process. In 3 months, she recovered about 70% of her voice. Still 30% was not there. That is, 30% not there means I first of all put her on… said, don't make an attempt to speak. At the most in a day, maximum 1 hour you can speak, rest of the time no speaking. Slowly she improved. Even then if she gets emotionally excited, voice will go off. If she gets little emotional excitement, voice will go. In about 1 year's time, she recovered almost 90%. But still she found if she got angry, her voice will go. I said, that's good. Let it stay that way. Whenever you're angry, at least you lose your voice. You don't say bad things at least. So, over 3.5 years' time, she recovered almost 100%. Only very rare moments it would give up, but generally almost 99% she recovered in about 3.5 years' time of practice. So mantras need to be done with certain care, with proper instruction and guidance.
Yes. Is it okay to chant mantras without knowing the meaning?
Mantras have no meaning. See, there are two dimensions to a mantra. Mantras are not supposed to have any meanings in the tradition. There are different types of mantras. Unfortunately, the mantras which are normally known, they have given them meanings so that people can involve. Because there are lots of idiotic people who cannot involve with anything that's meaningless. That is why they miss the sunrise, the sunset, the moon, the full moon, everything they miss because it's meaningless. What is the meaning of a full moon? There is no meaning, only if you're in love it means a lot. Otherwise, what is it? Nothing. It's not meaningful means it is not useful. So, all the idiots on the planet will do only meaningful things. Yes, because they have no intelligence to recognize life and the many facets of life. It is not because you have attached a stupid meaning to it, it exists. It exists beyond you. It existed before you, it will exist beyond you. It is not because you give it a meaning, it's become useful or not useful. So the stupid in the world will do meaningful things. They may be intellectual, but life stupid, they have no life sense. If you have life sense, you will see it is the most meaningless things which really set you on fire, isn't it so? No? So they created two kinds of mantras. One larger set of mantras which have no meaning, just pure sound. You will see this in our music also. The Yaksha program happened just now and many of our people who are looking for meanings were thoroughly bored because they're doing alap for 40 minutes, Say something, say at least Shiva, Shambho, something. No, They're not getting the point because it's about the sound. Why sound so much more important than a word which is a meaning? Meanings are made up in human minds. Sound is the essence of creation. If you touch the sound, you're touching creation. If you touch a word, you're just going into the psychological structure of human beings. Psychological structure of human beings is essentially a certain kind of madness. We can enjoy it, we can use it, but essentially it's a certain kind of illusory setup. Sound is a fundamental aspect of creation. If you have mastery over sound, you have mastery over creation itself in a certain way, because creation is just a complex amalgamation of sounds. It's the blueprint of creation. But meanings are human things. You know, the same words mean different things in different languages, even in India. You know this. The same word means different things because it's all made up. The sound is not made up. Sound is part of the creation. Sound is part of the existence. Sound is part of making the creation happen. Right now, the whole creation is reverberating in a certain way. You cannot hear it, it doesn't matter. But the words and meanings are a human making. It is meaningful only as a conspiracy. When I say a conspiracy, do you hear what the cricket is saying? What is he saying? You don't know, but they're talking. They're also like you. Some of them are just making sound, just doing alap. Just sound, simply enjoying the sound. Enjoying the creation in one sense means enjoying the sound of it. If you don't have a keenness to listen, if you don't have a keenness to pay attention, you cannot enjoy any aspect of creation, actually. You will only enjoy psychological patterns in your head. So this is the reason why most human beings want to speak, most of the time they want to be talking. Not because they have something to say, because they have to find meaning. Simply, either silence or sound, both are too overwhelming. That is why when we say spiritual process, first thing is silence. If you are psychologically very stable, you may say, okay, 30 days silence, 60 days silence. If you're psychologically fragile, we'll say, okay, 3 days. 3 days also people go crazy, we'll say, okay, half a day silence, up to noon silence, after that you blabber. They usually make it up afternoon. Those of you who talk a lot, you know, meaning is meaningless. You can simply talk. A whole lot of people are experts, they can simply speak without any meaning. They have understood the importance of sound. They can go on talking without making any meaning. Now, if you were a bird, we would pardon you. If you were this one, we would be okay. Or if you're a musician, you would be okay to make meaningless sounds. If you're speaking, you're expected to make some meaning. So mantra is not to be spoken, it is to be chanted. Chanting means chant is of the sound, not of the meaning. Meaning is of speech, meaning is of the word, written word and spoken word. Meaning does not belong to a chant. A chant is simply a sound, a reverberation. So if you do not know the meaning, it's the best way to chant, if you ask me. Simply, absolutely involved with the sound and saying it. But first of all, what you are uttering, is it a mantra or is it a bhajan or is it a sankirtan? You must look at it. If it's a mantra, mantra means a pure sound. It need not have any meanings. You can give it whatever meaning you want to start with, because without meaning you cannot be involved. But once you know how to be involved, you should not give it any meaning. Om Namah Shivaya does not mean you go on imagining one man sitting there on top of a mountain with something happening around him. No. Initially, if that's the only way you can be involved, you can look at the Shivakasi picture. Okay? Once you know how to be involved with the sound, you get rid of the man. He's not needed, he's a disturbance. I'm telling people in Sanyama, they're chanting. Their question is, if Shiva comes, I'm calling so many times, if he comes, just ignore him. Because that's not the thing about mantra. The mantra is that you involve yourself in the sound because you yourself, your physical thing is a certain pattern of sound. Right now you're trying to make yourself into a different pattern of sound so that this sound becomes an access point to the larger sound which you call as the cosmos. A larger arrangement of sounds is cosmic in nature. Now, you use a certain key sounds in a particular arrangement, you know. In the safes, the locks are called a combination lock. So you have to just get it right for it to open. So mantra is a combination. You get the right combination, right? It will open up a doorway into creation. It is not the meaning. Whatever meaning you give it, however high or low you think the meaning is a made-up thing. It's a psychological process. It has no existential meaning. No word has any existential meaning. Right now, whatever English words we're uttering doesn't mean anything to the trees. But if you can… Actually, these experiments have been done. If you sit here and sing beautifully, I cannot do that, but if you sit here and sing really properly, the tree is full of flower. It could be because of yaksha. Okay, the rains have aided it, but do not discount the power of the sound. Do not discount the power of the sound, it has influence on everything. Or if you chant a mantra, the tree may respond to it. If you sing music, it may respond to it. If you just generate a thought, it may respond to it. But if you speak, it will not respond. This is true with the tree, this is true with the divine.
The repetition of mantras is believed to have a profound effect on the mind and spirit, leading to relaxation, focus and spiritual growth. Some popular mantras include Om or Am. The syllable Om is considered to have originated from the ancient Sanskrit language and is mentioned in the Upanishads, which are philosophical texts of Hinduism dating back to around 800 to 200 BCE. It symbolizes the ultimate reality, often referred to as Brahman, which is beyond form, time and space. Om consists of three sounds, A, U and representing the three fundamental aspects of existence: creation, preservation and destruction. It is believed to be the sound of the universe and source of all creation. Chanting Om is a common practice in Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism and other spiritual traditions. It is used at the beginning and end of prayers, meditation, sessions and spiritual rituals. The repetition of Om is believed to bring harmony, peace and spiritual awakening to the practitioner. Om Mani Padme Hum. The mantra Om Mani Padme Hum is associated with Tibetan Buddhism and originates from the teachings of the Buddha. It is found in the Tibetan Buddhist scripture known as the Karandavyuha Sutra, which is part of the Mahayana Buddhist canon. Each syllable of the mantra holds profound symbolism. Om represents the body, speech and mind of all Buddhas. Mani means jewel, symbolizing compassion. Padme means lotus, symbolizing wisdom, and Hum represents indivisibility. Together, the mantra invokes the blessings of Shenrazik, the Bodhisattva of compassion, and signifies the union of compassion and wisdom. Tibetan Buddhists recite Om Mani Padme Hum as a form of meditation and as a means to cultivate compassion and wisdom. It is believed to purify negative karma, alleviate suffering, and lead to enlightenment. The mantra is often recited verbally, mentally, or written on prayer flags, wheels, and stones. Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is one of the most ancient and revered mantras in Hinduism. It is found in the Rig Veda, which is estimated to have been composed between 1500 to 1200 BCE. The mantra is attributed to the sage Vishwamitra. The Gayatri Mantra is a prayer addressed to Savitra, the sun deity, to illuminate the practitioner's intellect and lead them towards spiritual enlightenment. It is considered a source of divine knowledge, wisdom, and protection. Hindus traditionally chant the Gayatri Mantra during the Sandhya Vandanam, a daily ritual performed at sunrise and sunset. It is also recited during various ceremonies, pujas, and meditation practices. The repetition of the mantra is believed to purify the mind, awaken higher consciousness, and bestow blessings upon the practitioner. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. The mantra Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is central to Nichiren Buddhism, a Buddhist tradition founded by the Japanese monk Nichiren in the 13th century. It is derived from the Lotus Sutra, one of the most important Mahayana Buddhist scriptures. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is translated as devotion to the mystic law of the Lotus Sutra. It represents the eternal truth of the universe and the inherent Buddha nature within all beings. Chanting the mantra is believed to activate one's Buddha nature, bring forth inner wisdom and compassion, and manifest positive changes in one's life. Nichiren Buddhists chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo as a central practice of their faith. It is typically recited during morning and evening prayers as well as during personal meditation sessions. The chanting is accompanied by the silent recitation of one's personal prayers and aspirations. Am Namah Shivaya. The mantra Am Namah Shivaya is dedicated to Lord Shiva, one of the principal deities in Hinduism. It is found in ancient Hindu scriptures such as the Shvetashvatara Upanishad and the Rudram Chamakam section of the Yajur Veda. The mantra translates to I bow to Shiva. acknowledging reverence and surrender to the divine consciousness represented by Lord Shiva. It is believed to purify the practitioner's mind, body, and soul and lead them towards liberation, moksha, from the cycle of birth and death. Hindus chant Om Namah Shivaya during worship, meditation, and religious rituals dedicated to Lord Shiva. It is considered a powerful mantra for spiritual transformation and is believed to invoke the presence and blessings of Lord Shiva. Devotees often repeat the mantra verbally or mentally while focusing their attention on divine qualities of Shiva.